What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Game Channel. My name's AJ Gills. How y'all doing? It is time once more for the weekly show. Yes, as I always say, whenever I delay the show and then it still ends up being late. The show's late. I know. I shouldn't be surprised at this point in time, nor should you. I get the show done when I can. In all honesty, that's just how it was. This has been a weird week. I ended up getting sick again. Maybe I should sleep more than 4 to 5 hours a night. Maybe that would help me not getting sick like I've been. But yeah, I got sick, so I just decided to push the show back, especially because I had to work Sunday night. So I was just like, you know what? I got to work Sunday, so I'm just going to push it back to Monday. Then I go to sleep after I get home from work. I guess it would have been early this morning, and I end up waking up at 7 p.m. And then as I'm going through stuff to throw on the show, I'm just like, hey, you know what? I have an errand I have to go run. I'll talk about the errand in a second, because it kind of has to do with this first article here. But either way, we're gonna read just a couple articles, not a whole hell of a lot. This first one was sent to me by friend of the show, Samori Roden. He sent me this on Twitter, and I'm like, oh, this is actually news. We should probably talk about this. The rest of everything else, it's just kind of, I don't want to say goofy stuff, but it's just trailers and some more fun, lighthearted news, just because I don't feel like talking about how E3 is kind of destroying itself. Because I retweeted an article about it. Apparently E3, some new people that had to do with what their floor presentation was going to be. Some people dropped out of it, and again, just E3. I think their planning committee actually got delayed because of the whole coronavirus thing, and everything's just looking really bad with E3 this year. Should we be surprised? Excuse me. So other than that, there was some interesting think pieces or whatever on PlayStation or whatever on Push Square. It'd be some stuff that I might cover in the next day or two in their own separate video. But like I said, I wanted to keep the show a little more lighthearted. I've got a couple drinks in front of me. So, we're going to have a laugh at some stuff. I do want to say one thing. Again, I keep saying friend of the channel. There are some people, I when I say that, I really do mean it. There are people that I consider friends of the channel. Akita Touchdown, I mentioned him multiple times. He usually sends me some cool multiplayer trailers or whatever. He sent me a trailer from late February. It was the Insurgency Sandstorm console release trailer. I was going to include it, but really, it's a short trailer. I don't really have much to say about it. I think I've talked about Insurgency Sandstorm. I looked at another trailer for it at a later date. I just really don't have anything to add to it, so I'll include the trailer down in the description if you're interested. Along with, as always, everything else has links and timestamps and everything. So. Other than that, I think that's just about everything. So like I said, we're going to be taking some look at some trailers, last week, or was it 2 weeks ago? I can't remember when the trailer for, I think it's called Little Hope, the next, Dark Pictures anthology game, that trailer dropped. We have the release date trailer, launch trailer, whatever the hell you want to call it, of, Ghost of Tsushima. And then I got about 18 minutes of gameplay for, Baldur's Gate 3. Queued up. So, it's, like I said, it's going to be a little more lighthearted, a little bit more, not as serious, if you can call my personality serious, from what we usually do. So let's actually hop into the news. So our first article, Regi Fils-Aime is joining the GameStop board of directors. Remember when I said I'd mention that errand that I had to run earlier today? Well, apparently I saw an article that was outlining all the pre-order stuff for Ghost of Tsushima, and there are some really cool pre-order stuff. I am sure if you know me, you're going, well, of course, AJ, you got the special edition or whatever because it gives you a steel bookcase and everything. And I love steel bookcases. I mean, hell, I dropped $40 on that Bayonetta Vanquish double pack just because I had a steel book. And yes, I did buy that. I have it sitting here on my desk. Actually, I really like the bookcase. It's pretty cool. But no, I actually want to step further. I dropped $180 on the fucking collector's edition because the mask that the main character was named Jean, I think it is has that really cool Oni mask, and it has like a little statue for that. So I bought the collector's edition for about $180. And that was actually the fucking thing I had to go. Like I said, I'll tie this back to the errand I had to run. So I had to go to fucking GameStop to pre-order this at 8 o'clock at night because I'm trying to order it, and it's like Amazon. Okay, they're saying they're sold out. I can't pre-order it from Best Buy. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. I'll go to GameStop, and ordering it online, I could only get the fucking thing delivered to my house. And the problem is, if I wanted to get it delivered day one, I have to spend an extra $20-$30. Like the other two free options, it was like, oh, it's next day, so I'd get it. It comes out on the 26th, so I'd get it on the 27th, or I could get it 2 or 3 days later. And I'm like, can I get it delivered to the store? No option there. So then I end up having to go in, pre-order it in the fucking store. So I had to get my mommy to drive me because I'd been drinking. So obviously I'm not going to drive. So basically what I'm saying here, this all ties into the errand because I want to say, Regi, Fils-Aime, fix your fucking website so I don't have to make these weird drives. Either way, let's get into the actual article. I'm sorry for that weird tangent. GameStop today announced plans to add 3 new independent directors to its board who join amid GameStop's public discussions of ongoing changes to its business strategy. The new additions include William Simon, who previously served as president and CEO of Walmart US, and James Simas, I have no idea how to pronounce that, who served as president and CEO of PetSmart. I could understand the Walmart thing because again, it's a massive retail chain. Okay, I can understand that. Well, I guess PetSmart's also a retail chain. That's got to be business thing, not related to the gaming market. Because again, William Simon, I can understand. He's as far as business and everything goes, I guess that makes perfect sense. It's the PetSmart guy. That one's a little odd, but again, I can kind of understand it. Again, if you're going purely just retail. For the gaming audience, however, the most familiar addition to GameStop's board is undoubtedly Regi Fils-Aime, who is best known within the gaming community as the former president and COO of Nintendo of America. Fils-Aime first became a public figure for many rank-and-file gamers during the years in which he took a starring role in Nintendo's marketing efforts, including years of Nintendo's E3 media presentations. See, I think that's the biggest thing that Fils-Aime brings to GameStop, and that is to try and really bring them back to the players, if that makes sense. By the way, if I didn't mention, this is an article by Matt Miller on Game Informer. I'm sure so many people are going to tell me, AJ, the problem with GameStop has nothing to do with the way they're seen, or it has nothing to do with an image issue. It's just brick and mortar stores are going under because of the massive, I can't think of the fucking word, because of how online marketplaces have penetrated the culture nowadays. And I understand that. Definitely. I'm not saying that Fils-Aime is going to just go, oh, he's going to make brick and mortar stores cool. I'm not saying that's what he's going to do. What I'm thinking is he's going to try and bring. I think bringing a guy like Fils-Aime, who's got all that charisma and he's very well known, he's very well liked in the gaming community. I think he can really help bring the GameStop brand back. Either help them turn their on, kind of help bring attention more to an online marketplace. Like I said, I was having some problems with their online presence. I'd really love that fixed. Like I said, either bring it in from an online perspective. Try and bring more people to GameStop. I still remember when GameStop was trying to run like a small publishing arm that I've not heard of anything of for a very long time. Because I still have one of the games. I'm trying to remember what the name of that publishing arm was. I can't remember off the top of my head. But if anybody remembers the Insomniac game Song of the Deep, I played it on the channel. I own it. It's somewhere here in my house. Maybe he's going to try and revitalize that aspect and bring out that publishing arm again. And again, be that similar kind of like face that he was at Nintendo of America. I don't know. Maybe he's going to be completely behind the scenes working as a board member. But again, I don't see the strategy of bringing somebody like Fils-Aime, who is this massive personality, to just be a silent partner and be a board member. I say silent partner. Obviously, he's going to be doing things behind the scenes. But again, you bring in a guy like Fils-Aime, I think he's going to come in, and I think that you're going to try and use him as a public figure, as a face of the company, to, again, try and bring that GameStop brand back into, I don't want to say into the mainstream, but back into relevance, I guess is the better term. Let's see here. Simasik and Simon will join the board immediately, and Fils-Aime will join on April 20th. The announcement comes as several other members of GameStop's board prepare to retire from involvement, including longtime member Dan DiMatteo. Let's go with that. GameStop also announced new plans for the organization of its board in the coming years, with a particular focus on continual refreshment of its members, the further details of which are highlighted in a release from the company. All in all, yeah, it's like I said. I think this is a good move. This is a good get from GameStop because, again, I think a guy like Fils-Aime can really bring... I think the best term I can put is... The best way I can put this, I think he can really help bring relevancy back to the GameStop brand. And I really hope he does because, personally, I still love brick-and-mortar game stores. I really do. I still love them. GameStop, I have my problems with. They're always trying to upsell me. But I understand that's just kind of the thing of a business. But you know what? I mean, I've been to GameStops recently and had very little issue with them, like I did way back in the day. Like I said, I think their online store could use a little bit of an update, just a little bit of ease of use sort of thing. But maybe, I don't know, maybe I should try and navigate the internet when I'm sober. Maybe that's probably a better plan. Again, I'm just going around in circles here. This is a good move from GameStop, bringing in a guy like Fils-Aime. I really hope he can kind of turn things around for the company and that GameStop doesn't just go under. I'm really hoping for that. So, there we go. Let's move on. Next up on Push Square, The Last of Us to be adapted into an HBO TV series. Article Stephen Tailby of Push Square. The Last of Us is getting its highly anticipated sequel later this year, but that isn't the only project currently in development for Joel and Ellie. According to Hollywood Reporter, the critically acclaimed PlayStation exclusive is to be adapted into a TV series with HBO. Before you roll your eyes, a key creative mind behind The Last of Us, Neil Druckmann, is lined up as writer and executive producer on the adaptation. See, that is the biggest thing to me that will save this project. The fact that Neil Druckmann is behind this. Excuse me. I know it's always the big joke that video game adaptations from movies never work. People, from what I remember, people kind of liked that the Tomb Raider movie. I still remember when I was working in college radio, me and one of the other pop culture guys were sitting and talking, and he liked the Tomb Raider movie. And I sat and said, honestly, if you're a fan of the game, like I am, don't watch the movie, because it's just, you play the game and you get a much better story and a much better experience. The movie it goes out of its way to try and introduce Trinity too early. It doesn't work. It's not as fun as the actual game was. And he said, and he was watching it because he was more of a movie guy, I was more of a game guy. He said as a movie fan, he enjoyed it a lot more. So I think that's kind of the clash there when it comes to movies and video game adaptations of movies. I think a lot of gamers look at them and go, they're just not. You're trying to condense too complicated of a story. You're trying to condense such a great story and such a good character and everything into this short 2 hour. It's how to put it. It doesn't carry over the mediums as well as people would like to think it would. While some movie people, I think, a lot of times see some video game movies as just corny cash grabs. Or in the latest Tomb Raider. I'm not talking the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider. I'm talking the new one with I can't remember her name. The new, like I said, I'm talking about the new one that was based on the new video game trilogy. Or in that one, I knew some people who actually liked the movie, who really did like the movie, like I said. But I knew some gamers who saw the new Tomb Raider movie and just weren't big fans. They were kind of like me. They're just like, just play the game. It's so much better. But either way, I'm getting a little off topic here. I'm using that anecdote as kind of as a look at a wider issue within trying to adapt video games into movies and TV shows. I think so many people see them as it doesn't do the source material justice. I mean, hell, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna see the Uncharted movie, but I do not have very high expectations of it. Look, I understand people love Tom Holland. Honestly, I ducked out of Marvel before the new Spider-Man movies, so I don't really know much about Tom Holland. I'd love to see Mark Wahlberg, though, come in to play Sully. Oh, my God. I think that would actually immediately bump that movie up for me. But just with the production issues that movie's been having and everything, just really is not sounding good to me. I've heard really mixed things on the Witcher TV show. Some people I've heard some people say, "Oh no, it's really good," and some other people who really like the games have kind of told me it's not bad. It's just it's not worth it. Just play the games. So yeah, it's just usually adaptations don't fill me with a whole lot of hope, but I will say the big saving grace here. I'll get to my actual point. I'll stop trying to ramble here. Neil Druckmann, lined up as a writer and executive producer, I think is a big help for this show. The fact that the creative mind behind this game is here. So, at least the idea that this isn't going to be reliable to the source material, that this isn't going to do the main IP justice, I think that's good. I would make an argument though, because I believe this is about this is going to be with Joel and Ellie. My thing is, I kind of wish that they would just not have Joel and Ellie in this at all. And I get why you'd want them there, because they are the big characters, they are the big draw. Granted, I think part of that is it's Troy Baker's performance. It's Joel and it's Ashley Johnson, I believe. I believe that's her name. It's her last name. I always blank on. It's Ashley something. I believe it is Johnson. Which is really funny that I can't remember that because I really like her work. I love her as a voice actress. I've seen her in a few TV shows. She's a really good actress. I really like her. Her voice. She gave the voice performance of Ellie. They killed it, and I cannot wait for the sequel to hear them come back and reprise these roles. Seeing them played by other actors would almost hurt it to me. Though, granted, I would find it funny if they can get Ellen Page to come in and play Ellie. Because, again, I could be remembering something wrong, but I remember an old story a long time ago that Ellie, they had to change the design of Ellie because her design was too similar to Ellen Page, and they didn't want some big, lawsuit because of that. Like I said, I could be remembering something incorrectly there, but so I'd like to see Ellen Page come in and play Ellie. I think that'd be funny. But all in all, like I said, I kind of wish that they would drop Joel and Ellie entirely from this project, not focus on them. They go and do something completely different with the Last of Us TV show. And what I mean by that is build the world more. Use it to build the world, not give another chapter in Joel and Ellie's story that would probably take place between the first game and the second game, unless they're going to just like redo the first game as a TV show, which, okay, I think that could work, in all honesty, because of how cinematic the game was, but I'd still like to see more. Like I said, go somewhere else. Like, show how this government works. Maybe fill in time between when Joel's daughter dies and when he meets Ellie. Show the world fall apart. Show this government kind of establishing itself the way it did in the game. Because, there is some semblance of a government here. Who the Fireflies are fighting against. You see Joel, like I said, there's about 20 years of time between when the outbreak starts and when Joel meets Ellie. I believe it's 20 years. I could have that time a little off. It might be like 10, 15, but either way, there's a good amount of time. There's, can you see what I'm getting at? Maybe focus on the Fireflies, show how their little army works, again, fighting against this government. But again, I'd like to see them build the world of The Last of Us up a little bit more than what we got in the game, because I think we got enough in the game to understand the game and what's going on and everything, and to enjoy it. But at the same time, I think that there's so much more in this world that could be built on. Again, because we barely even saw that government that was running that town that Joel and Ellie were in. We really didn't see much of it. Is it just one city, or is there a larger kind of government system built of all these different cities and military type things? I would really like to see. I would really love to see that world fleshed out. That's what I'm getting at here. But anyway, let's keep going. Sorry, I'm musing right now. Druckmann will be joined by Craig Mazin. I'm going Mazin, creator of the HBO series Chernobyl. President of Naughty Dog Evan Wells and HBO's Carolyn Strauss are also down to executive produce the show. According to this report, this is the first television series to come out of PlayStation Productions, which will co-produce alongside Sony Pictures Television Studios. It will apparently recount the original... Oh, there we go. I missed that sentence. It will apparently recount the original tale quote, with the possibility of additional content based on the forthcoming game sequel, end quote. Again, that's not bad. I think it's possible to do that and really stay true to the series. It's just like I said again, I don't know how I feel about other people taking up the roles of Joel and Ellie. Unless you actually get Ashley Johnson and and Troy Baker to play the roles, which I don't think would work because it wouldn't work. I don't know. This is one of those that I'm going to have to see to believe how it is. It's like I said, I just wish that they'd get away from Joel and Ellie and just build the world more and let that be what the TV show is. But I guess some people would see, it's the Last of Us TV show. Where's Joel and Ellie? Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. That's my opinion. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Are you like me? Would you rather see a much, would you rather see the world expanded upon or just do what they're doing and basically retell the original game? A TV series sounds ideal for the Last of Us game that's already split into segments with each passing season. It seems the right creative talent is being funneled into this. I'll give them that. So we have high hopes that this will turn out well. We should prepare for more PlayStation properties to hit the small screen too. Chris Parnell in Sony Pictures Television Studios states, quote, "This is the first of many shows we intend to develop with our friends at PlayStation Productions," end quote. Yeah, it's like I said, I think Sony, with how much care that they've been putting into their IPs lately, I have high hopes for them. If it was another studio doing this, I'd feel a little, you know what I mean? I'd be a little more skeptical. But I think Sony has the care to put, I think they have the care of their IPs to not put out crap, mixed with the fact that I think that they are putting the right people in charge of this. You know, like I said, putting Neil Druckmann here as a writer and everything, I think it was a great move. So, just some of my opinions here. All right, first trailer we're going to take a look at here is the Dark Pictures anthology Little Hope. This is the official trailer. I think this dropped 2 weeks ago, but I'm just getting to it now. Little Hope, I don't know, man. I'm curious to see what this one's going to do. I'm trying to think. I never did an official review of. Holy crap! What was the other one? Why can't I remember? Man of Medan. There we go. I really did enjoy the game. I'd put it an 8 out of 10. It was nice, kind of schlocky B horror sort of thing. It's a very similar feeling that I got when I played Until Dawn. Which is honestly, it's what I wanted, especially with, Little Hope being of the same developers. It's Supermassive Games. That's what I wanted out of these. I wanted it to kind of be schlocky, B-horror sort of stuff. Granted, I thought the twist at the end of Man of Medan was really easy to kind of pick out. But I don't know. I mean, but it seems like they're going to be doing something entirely different with Little Hope. It seems to be, it's more like kind of like I think it's set in like the 80s or something like that. It looks like there's stuff with the witches and everything. But overall, I think the best part of the Dark Pictures anthology is the fact that the curator, that sort of librarian guy who kind of broke the fourth wall, he was kind of the X-File, or not X-Files, the Twilight Zones, imagine if you will guy. I really loved his performance. I thought he was probably the best thing about Man of Medan, so I'm really hoping he's coming back. I'm so curious to see what he's going to do, or what they're going to do with him in the future of this anthology series. But either way, I've talked enough. Top in.
Peggy 16.
What in God's name is this?
Some sort of abandoned ship.
Alex? There's something in here with us!
Oh, no!
Where's he taking her?
Where are you taking me?
My question exactly.
Really? People give this game a 9?
Why would they be chained and locked?
Oh, wie man eine Gas macht.
There's no such thing as ghosts.
Oh, ghosts? There are ghosts now? No.
Ich habe mich nicht erschreckt, weil ich so krass bin.
I'm trying to think. Did I scream like a child when I was playing this game? I think that one got me.
Who are these people, fam? What's going on?
I mean, I know I got caught by a lot of the jump scares, but that's because it's easy to catch me with a jump scare. But again, honestly, I think, how to put this? I think Man of Medan fused so many things very well. And that is, I think they did the jump scare thing, and how to put it, they fused jump scares with a really great tone and in setting. You know, inside the ship, everything was very claustrophobic. It was very dark. And then they threw in those jump scares. You know, it really built the tension into the jump scare and everything. Again, I know jump scares are overused and everything. People are going to say, well, AJ, that's not really great. Great horror doesn't come from jump scares and everything. It's true. But at the same time, I think if you're going to do jump scares, I like the way that Man of Medan did it. Yes, it was almost all full of jump scares, but I think they did a great job of showing some things that were truly eerie and scary, mixed with their setup and build up to those moments. It was great. Again, I'm trying to remember if I ever did just like scream out like a kid during that. I think probably some of those jump scares got me, but all in all, I think a 9 is too high for Man of Medan. I still think an 8 is a damn solid score for this game.
I think I just died.
You hear that? Chill out. I'm fine, see?
I'm not fine. I was about to have a heart attack.
Jesus Christ, how much of this trailer is going to be fucking...
Who did?
Brad.
I'm Brad!
Conrad.
Oh! Epic gamer moment!
It's okay.
Fuck. There we go.
I just saw someone in the woods.
So I was curious how much of this was going to be. I love this song.
Very good. Who's there?
I fashioned her with my own hand.
Il est génial cet acteur.
Who would name a town Little Hope?
Changer de la série. Ah, ça m'a hypé. J'ai envie de le faire maintenant. Avec cet acteur, il est trop bien.
All right, you know what? Not how I would have done this trailer. Not how I would have done this trailer. And if you want to know what I mean by that, God damn it! Stop giving me those.
Ah, c'est un trailer pour le prochain jeu.
Come on, give me the when it says it's coming out. Blah blah blah. Little Hope. Oh, it just says this year. Okay. Yeah. Not how I would have done that trailer. I would not. I would have just redone the trailer or expanded upon the trailer that they showed at the end of Man of Medan. Instead, you spend so long showing Man of Medan bits and having people freak out to that. As far as the trailer goes, I'm not going to give you... I don't give high points for the trailer. I don't think that's a great trailer. As far as reminding me what I loved about the Man of Medan and kind of making me want to go back and play Man of Medan, I give them some credit, because it actually really does make me want to go back and play it a little bit and everything. I can't tell if I'm getting like witch vibes. Well, I guess I say witch vibes or Blair Witch vibes, because they're kind of the same thing. But yeah, I'm really interested in Little Hope. All in all, despite how bad I thought that trailer was, I really do enjoy what Supermassive did with Man of Medan. I love what they did with Until Dawn. So honestly, I can't wait to play Little Hope. There's my take. Okay, on to what I'm sure everybody really wanted to see. I'm not going to talk a whole hell of a lot about this. You heard my experience earlier tonight already about what I had to go through to get my collector's edition for this game pre-ordered. It was a pain in the ass, but goddamn, I'm excited. We finally have the fucking release date.
Jin. When we fight, we face our enemy head on. And when we take their life, we look them in the eye with courage and respect. This is what makes us samurai. There must be thousands of them. face death and defend our home.
God damn, I love how cinematic this trailer is. It's so fucking pretty.
We do what we must, Lord Sakai. That is why you and I are both survivors.
I am samurai.
No, you are more than that. You are the ghost. Convince your people to join me, and I will give them peace.
We will never serve you.
God damn it. And now we're seeing the stuff that looks like Assassin's Creed.
Like that. It was nothing.
You're more than a samurai. He is a vengeful spirit, back from the grave to slaughter the Mongols.
If you continue down this path, you will be no better than the Mongols. I trained you to fight with honor.
Honor died on the beach. The Khan deserves to suffer.
See, that's... I love games like this that try and push this sort of... It's not just necessarily about the external struggle. I mean, yes, this is a game about a man trying to push the Mongol invasion of Tsushima... I can't fucking pronounce the name now. Push the Mongol invasion of Tsushima back, fighting for his homeland and all that. Those are really great stories. But even then, I think they're setting it up here for the story of Gene also having to come to terms with he has to fight in a way that is necessary, not necessarily the way that he wants to. You know, he's trying to balance honor with trying to defend his home. You know, that it's almost he has to fight in an unhonorable way. It's like his teacher keeps telling him, I taught you to fight with honor. Honor died at the beach or whatever. You know, it's almost he has to throw away principle to be able to actually defeat his enemy. It's going to be one of those thematic kind of stories, I think. I mean, I love his character. He's very stoic. He's very, very kind of reserved. I don't want to say reserved. I mean, you can almost hear the rage. Again, it's let's go back that just like 20 seconds. Just that line with his teacher. This is my favorite line in this trailer.
I trained you to fight with honor.
Honor died on the beach. The Khan deserves to suffer.
See, it's that. I get it. You're hearing the rage boil up, but it's still reserved. It's held back. He's not lashing out, but you can tell he's very angry. He's very very frustrated with what's going on. Again, it's not only great performance by the actor there, but the writing, everything. I love it. I love characters like Gene. I'm already super stoked about this. But again, it's just the fact that everything looks so cinematic and everything. Like even the gameplay bits don't look choppy or they look so smooth. And again, I'm gonna keep using the word cinematic. And granted, some stuff looks like Assassin's Creed and makes me laugh, but I absolutely love the way this game looks. I mean, some of those like sword fight scenes that we've seen in previous gameplay bits. I've said this before. They look like a samurai movie, which I think is what they're going with for this game. I think that's what Sucker Punch is trying to do. It's trying to give us something that's kind of a samurai movie in a game format.
Sacrifice everything for my home.
See, and again, right there, that goes further into my that goes further into my opinion that this story isn't just about, again, the defense of his homeland and everything. It's also about sacrifice and specifically sacrificing principles. It's like you said, I will sacrifice anything in defense of my home and everything. I'm super excited about this game. I've been super excited about this game for the longest freaking time. I'm so glad we finally have a release date. June 26th, 2020. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I really want to bring up about this game. I guess my biggest question is, what are the open world elements going to be of this? Because I believe it's been confirmed that there will be open world elements to this game. I'm just so curious to see what it is. You know, is it going to be like full blown RPG where we're like managing equipment and items and looting bodies and et cetera, or is it going to be open world, but not necessarily like RPG open world? I'm very curious to see how this game's going to work. And again, I don't know. Hopefully we'll get some more gameplay or whatever before June 26th. But I'm super excited. That's where I'm going to leave this. Okay, guys, let's finish things up here. We got some Baldur's Gate 3 gameplay. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know a whole hell of a lot about this game. I knew Baldur's Gate. It's a very famous RPG. It's a very big franchise and everything. I know a lot of people were super excited about Baldur's Gate 3, but I wasn't super, you know, it was one of those, okay, it looks cool or whatever. I'm like, I'll probably give it a shot somewhere down the road. But I started watching, you know, I was kind of like skimming through this fucking video. Jeez, words. I was skimming through this video, and I'm looking at the gameplay going, man, this gameplay looks a lot like Divinity Original Sin 2. And I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, it looks like something made by Larian Studios. And then, of course, I Google it, and I'm like, oh, this is made by Larian Studios. So is Baldur's Gate 2. And I believe 1 as well. I'm not sure if Baldur's Gate 1 was Larian. I'm not sure who. I'll Google it while this is playing. But as soon as I saw that Larian Studios was connected to this, I'm like, oh, I am 100% in now. I loved what they did with Divinity. So I'm really curious about this. So here's some gameplay that we got today. This is from Game Informer, about 16 minutes.
Hey, welcome to another episode of New Gameplay. Today I'm your host, Jeff Gork, joined today by Ben Reeves.
Hello.
Hello, Leo Vader.
The Dynamic Trio.
Here we are again.
In the flesh.
You asked for it after the Resident Evil 3 one.
Yep.
And we listened.
Exactly. What are we looking at here, Ben Reeves?
This is Baldur's Gate 3.
3?
The 3-0 and another 3.
Another 3?
Another 3. Baldur's Gate 3.
What
Did
kind
you guys
of
ever
game?
play Baldur's Gate?
No.
I played Dark Alliance on GameCube, so
okay.
No.
Yeah, not the same at all.
No.
Baldur's Gate, it's an old 90s / early 2000s RPG. That guy hurt himself when he jumped down there, which is funny.
Is this your...
Yeah, yes, I believe Baldur's Gate was by Larian. I do believe.
Gameplay?
It is not. We did not. We were not able to play it. I'm sorry. I wish I would have done.
Do you even play
much
games?
better? No. Oh my gosh, what a joke. So, Baldur's Gate, top-down RPG. It was originally BioWare. That's kind of like
there we go.
Franchise that got them on the map.
Mm-hmm.
This is not BioWare though. This is Larian Studios, who did Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2. Is probably what they're best known for.
That's what this game looks like.
And it turns out they were kind of doing their own take on Baldur's Gate with those games, and now they're actually getting to do the real thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I looked it up because I was seeing like all the developers who worked on the Baldur's Gate series. That's why I couldn't figure out if Larian had something. Okay, so it was originally BioWare. Larian, I believe, had something to do with Baldur's Gate 2. So, and this game, I believe, is all Larian. Again, hence why this looks so much like Divinity.
Yeah, that's cool.
So this is like early on in the game. We skipped the early chunk where you create your character, or you can create a character. You can also pick a pre-rendered character.
Like Geralt of Rivia.
Yeah, he's in the game. We got him. And these are 2 pre-generated characters, stuff that Larian came up with on their own.
Yeah.
The female there is called Shadowheart. That's her right there. She's an elfin warrior. And then the other guy is Asterion. He is a vampire spawn.
Lovely.
Yeah. No good.
Seems as good a place as any to make camp.
And people hate him immediately, right? Is that what's supposed to be happening?
Might as well adapt to the
Yeah, he's a vampire, dude.
ways.
Just like Blade.
Is there a lot of voice acting then?
There is a lot of voice acting. So the main character talks not every time. You know, there's the multiple. We'll see it here. Like, so you have the multiple dialogue choices. So he doesn't say these lines, unfortunately.
This is the general, yeah.
But he says a lot of other lines.
About how he's a vampire.
That's right. And the neat thing is, you can pick who you want to be. Like I said before,
See, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of the fact that they have certain lines voice acted and certain ones not. Just go full bore and voice act everything. I've said this so much about so many different games, and it really frustrates me when they don't. But again, I'm gonna keep saying it. It's very, 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 very much like Divinity Original Sin 2, because they did that same thing when you were talking to somebody. It wouldn't give you the exact dialogue option, but it would give you basically the general tone of what you're about to ask them.
Repeating myself, but if you pick, say, Shadowheart to be the main character, then this guy could be one of your companions, and the whole story would kind of shape around the person you pick.
Okay.
So the story is very different depending on who you pick as the main guy.
Are there?
See, in what they're saying there, I guess that does kind of add some replayability. If what they're saying that the main story changes around who you have as your main character. Divinity Original Sin 2 did a very similar thing, although I think it's better to create your own main character and then bring in everyone as party members, because then their storylines are just side stories. So I personally would lean more towards the creating your own character, but that's just me.
A lot of cool types of people you can be. Like I remember I think it was Divinity 2, you could be a skeleton for the whole game.
Yeah, I mean they showed us like 4 or 5 different races, several different classes. You know, they're based on D&D rules, just like Baldur's Gate was, the originals. So there's all the D&D classes and characters that you can pick from. And they haven't even revealed them all, so presumably there'll be even more to pick from it when the game's actually out. So this is like this scene here. You can set up camp whenever you want, and he's kind of going through dialogue in his head. Like obviously this would change if you were playing as a different character, but I don't know. You guys want to know what the story is? Are you guys invested in the dialogue?
Sure.
He's talking about this tadpole in his head because the game opens with this ship going through the city and kidnapping a bunch of people. And they implant these like crazy looking tadpole things into everybody's eyes. And it's slowly turning them into monsters called mind flayers.
Okay.
So horrifying, I couldn't even remember the name for a second.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's right. So mind flayers are these.
Okay. I love this. What they just did. That they're literally doing checks. It's not a simple. It's not going to be a simple. Well, I mean, it's like they said. This is based on D&D rules. So again, we're seeing wisdom, intelligence, and a lot of stuff like that. That it's not just a simple. Okay, my stats high enough. This is the intelligence or charisma or whatever decision. Hey, my skill is high enough. There's a threshold. Boom. I can work this dialogue. No, it is like a D&D or a tabletop game where here's the target. Here's your roll. You have a disadvantage or whatever. Roll the dice. I love that concept. I love how they're bringing that into a video game RPG setting. So it's not just that simple. You get your stat, and then you can just play that stat. No, you still have some element of randomness to it of the dice rolls. I like that.
Crazy monstrosities that are part of the D&D universe. With the crazy tentacles for chins.
It's basically public domain Cthulhu, even though Cthulhu himself is public domain.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
So the whole game is about this cast of characters trying to figure out like what's going on with these these tadpoles in our heads, and why are they turning us into mind flayers?
That's unexpected.
And then this is Gale. He's a wizard, a human wizard.
An intellect devourer nibbling at your ear. Glad to see my eyes deceive me. I'm Gale. Well met.
Unimpressed.
So it's part of the mystery that this vampire can be out in the open like it's nothing?
Yeah, so that's part of the fact that he has that tadpole in his head.
Right.
It's given him abilities that he shouldn't have, like the ability to stay in daylight, or he's not sure if water hurts him anymore.
He loves garlic.
He just can't get enough of it.
Mm-hmm.
But he still has a taste for human blood. So he still has some vampire tendencies.
Okay, so how does that play out in gameplay? Do you know?
Well, there is a scene in the camp later on where you can choose to feast on one of your companions. And you have to roll a check. Like you saw the check earlier where you roll the dice. You have to roll one of those, and if you succeed, you can feast on one of your companions.
I was too hungry and went for his neck.
Well, that's part of the check, is like you roll a check to see if they discover you or not. And so you can choose to either, I'll go hunt for like a wild sheep and suck on that's blood, or I can try to, feast on one of my companions, and then you do the check, and either they reveal you, and they're like, what the heck, dude? And then you get in a fight, they might leave your party. Or if you do it in secret, the next day they could not be doing so well. They might have a debuff in combat where you might have a buff. And if you do too much, you could kill them. So
I would simply choose to not be a vampire.
That's a good choice, dude. That's what I've been choosing for the last several years.
Yeah. Seems like the way that I would play.
I'm not sure where we'll find it in this wilderness. How about we embark on the quest for a healer together?
So basically, they've all decided, hey, we all have tadpoles in our heads. And then when you have a tadpole in your head, you got to go find a healer.
Yep. Textbook.
As you do. It's kind of a boilerplate story.
Yeah. How deep is the freedom?
Well, I mean, I was talking about the options there when you feast on your companions. Like, that can really shape how things go. If you don't get certain companions, or do get certain companions, or somebody dies, that can shut off whole entire quest lines. So it can really reshape the story quite a bit. And then you can choose to be good or chaotic neutral, kind of all the D&D type stuff. That's all going to flavor the story.
Okay. When you say good or chaotic neutral, are those actually measured in game, or you just mean in the way you choose to play?
Yeah, they didn't show us like if there's a meter that shows how far along you are on the spectrum, but they said it'll affect it. So I don't know how that will represent itself, but it will change the story. And then so here he's sneaking.
Yeah, I just saw the word sneaking and I shot up right.
And so you can see there's some enemies over there. And when you start sneaking, you can see that the red marker around the map shows what they can see. So you're trying to avoid that, and he can sneak up to this guy, and I think he's going to try to push him off the edge here.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, our other two companions are over here, so you can divide.
Again, I'm going to keep saying it. Divinity. This is something that that Divinity did as well. Again, the way that we're seeing the you see the area that other people can see around you and everything. Sadly though, when you go into sneak, you don't like become like a bush or a barrel or something like that. That was one of my favorite parts about Divinity. Again, They mentioned how the story was kind of boilerplate, and I think in a way that's true. I think that's going to be that boiler. It's that sort of, okay, there's some sort of weird, crazy, magical shit happening with you. You need to stop it. You gain this party of adventurers, and you go stop the whatever bad thing's happening to you. Okay, yeah, very boilerplate in a way. But Larian, I think, has a good sense of humor. I think they have a good sense of humor with their characters. I think that they make just a great RPG sort of combat system. I really loved how they're taking this grid-based AP sort of system. Well, obviously we'll see it once we get into combat here. But I think in some ways this is going to be very, very run-of-the-mill RPG, but in another way, I think Larian's going to put their own spin to it, and I'm really excited to actually play it and see how that works, if that makes sense.
Hide your party and scout around the map and kind of set up good tactical maneuvers.
This is your jam right here, isn't it, Reeves?
I really like this. I bet Leo would be into this as well.
This is looking good to me.
But we don't know what that thing even is. And what about the crypt?
Uh-oh.
I'm telling you, it's a ship. And the crypt can wait. Mari and Barton have been trying to break in for days. Now we... Stop!
Another thing worth noting is just the camera work here during the cutscenes. A little more dynamic, right? A little bit more like a modern RPG. Which is kind of nice because the old... In fact, a lot of top-down RPGs don't do that.
Yeah,
CRPGs
for sure.
See, I'm really hoping that what we're gonna see here is how to put this, because generally when you got into conversations in, I'm trying to remember Divinity. I haven't played Divinity in a while. No, yeah, when you got into conversations with and we're leading with other characters, you actually get to lead with the party member that you're currently highlighted. So you're playing with her stats and not the vampire guy's stats. Again, just an interesting way of how you can approach this. Although I also like how you could approach this with just 2 members in your party and let your other one be snuck away and doing something completely different. I like that idea. It's almost, you can prepare for combat, but with these guys you can kind of walk in and try and talk your way through the situation. It's an interesting take. Or yeah, I'll go with that.
You'd be fooled into thinking this is like a lower camera third-person action game by just seeing the dialogue.
And I don't think we show it in this video, but you can zoom the camera down a little bit, so it's a little bit more behind over-the-shoulder view while you're exploring the world as well.
Oh, cool.
Think you can get us to leave that bounty to you? Not a chance.
Because I'll admit, for me personally, a game like that, with the kind of depth that Larian's games offer, it would be really appealing to me. But the sheer way that you play it has always been kind of not my jam so much.
Yeah, it's harder to feel immersed in the world when you're looking at everything from a bird's eye view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it is helpful for combat encounters like this. So push him off, see a sucker.
That's good.
And so it hurts him, stuns him, and yeah, I think you won't be able to attack for 1 round.
We can push the wooden crate down next, I'm hoping.
They meant, I mean, I kind of glossed over it, but they mentioned it right there of how you can, what is it? That you can see your character from an over-the-shoulder point of view if you like that more traditional, that more traditional RPG experience, something similar to like what you see in Mass Effect or in a BioWare RPG or The Witcher or whatever. Personally, I don't mind the top-down thing for exploring and everything. I think it adds a certain charm to the game, but just me, maybe. I don't know.
I think you could actually, because you can pick up objects.
Mm-hmm.
What was that actual action? Is there a push ability down there, or how do you do that?
Yeah, there's a push ability. I think we saw earlier there's jump ability, so you can jump up on things.
Okay.
You can grab things and stack them on top of things. So at one point in the demo we saw, we were stacking things on top of each other to create a staircase up to a place that you couldn't reach otherwise. And so Larian's really big on systemic gameplay.
difficult terrain.
Things that affect other things. One of the...
And again, it's like they're saying that's what Larian does really best. What they did with Divinity, again, you saw that guy slip on the terrain. Again, how you mix, you can like have like a small area, like rain in a small area, to have like electric moves are going to do more damage. It causes a puddle, something like that. But then you can drop ice magic in that same spot and freeze and create ice on the ground that people can slip. Again, it's very. Let me double back just to get the words they used
on systemic gameplay.
Mm-hmm. Systemic. Okay, there we go. He used systemic. I wasn't sure the term he used. Again, it's what Larian does really well, and I'm very interested to see what they're going to do from here on out. But you're also seeing this whole, like 13.2 and everything. Again, you're seeing the movement distances and everything. I'm looking for the AP gauge, which I'm not sure, because that's health. I'm going to guess that's mana of some sort. Maybe, I don't know. Because is there? Yeah, there's not really mana in. No, there is mana in Divinity and everything. It's mana for mages, and it's like stamina for everyone else. But yeah, I'm looking for like an AP gauge or something.
So things that affect other things. One of the examples of this is the mage just cast grease, which is a spell that creates grease everywhere, and so these guys just slipped on that, and so their movement speed through that is going to be very slow.
Grease.
I love how the spell is literally called grease.
I can imagine Harry Potter saying that. Is there any meaningful
what would be the spell for that?
Just grease. Are there any meaningful changes to combat from like what you'd expect out of this genre?
Yeah, I think the systemic stuff is really big. It's as you can see, turn-based. So your heroes will take their turn, and then the enemy will go. You have, I think they said 6 seconds worth of time to attack. So your character could move across the battlefield as far as 6 seconds would allow them to move and then attack.
Very D&D.
Yeah, very. I was about to say that, very D&D related.
And then it's it's very tactical, but there's no grid, so it feels a little more fluid, I think, which I kind of dig.
Yeah, I like that too.
I do like grid based strategy games like XCOM, for example. But this also looks nice.
I know.
I'm with them. I like my grid based stuff as well. But I look. I'm not going to say, oh, I'm a tabletop master. No, I've played some tabletop. And the thing I like about tabletop is that sort of how it isn't. It's based on a grid, but it isn't. If that makes sense. Again, I think it's what Larian does well. It makes games feel like a tabletop game. And that's what it does extremely well. Because again, when I play tabletop, the people I played with, we still drew little pictures or whatever to kind of give you an idea of what's around, so you can kind of picture it, just for those of us like me who can't just out and out picture things in our head. We still like that little bit of visual representation. So again, it's that idea that it's what Larian does, is how it kind of pulls things off of a grid and lets it be very, very time based and AP based. Again, it's a really neat idea. I'm not sure how I feel about the fact that your team takes its action, then their team takes its action. It works for some games, works for Fire Emblem and stuff like that. I don't know. With it being more D&D based, I kind of wish it was based on initiative. But again, that's a very minor complaint. I
would get into this game if I made myself commit to it.
If you made yourself?
Yeah.
Is it, I don't know, is it stressful or something? Or is it intimidating?
I just don't play a lot of strategy games like this, especially not turn-based ones.
Oh, cool. It's even a roll when you attack.
Okay.
But I do like being tactical. I do like being smart. I just like when my ass is getting kicked to do it faster,
You're always like sneaking into the office.
Yeah. You guys are always on your patrols.
That's right. Every morning. Don't let Leo in.
Must be hearing things.
Huh? Just a box.
Yeah. There can't be anyone in the office with me right now. It's 9:30 a.m. Anything else?
Leaving
cool
your
about
party
this
member
game?
who's downed.
You want to talk about?
Yeah, what else was cool? They showed us a pretty good amount of the game. There was just cool stuff like later on, we're not going to get to see it, but there's a big enemy we're trying to attack.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a pit of spiders right behind him. And so we kind of sneak up and use a spell to push him into the pit of spiders. And then the spiders make short work of him. So it's
that's cool.
Anytime you're in a jam, you can try to you have a million different options at your disposal. And you can try to do different things to get out of, the corner you're put into. That's kind of what Larian said. They were like, hey, we want to offer players a wide variety of things to do, so that it's kind of like if a DM would allow this in an actual game of Dungeons and Dragons, you can do this in the game.
I love
which
that.
is very ambitious, but
yeah.
I mean, what I saw, there's a lot of stuff you can do in this game.
I love that so much about D&D, and it's so impossible for a game to replicate that. The actual freedom of being able to do literally anything at any point.
Right.
See, I think they just touched upon what I think makes Larian games so fun. Or again, I say Larian games, at least what made the Divinity series really fun, and what I think is going to make this game really cool. It is that thing that makes tabletop so fun. It is that idea of that really you can do anything that you can think up. That you can think up and then can put into a skill check in a roll of the dice. It's what I loved about playing tabletop when I was in college, because that's when I played. That's why I was part of a tabletop group or club or whatever you want to call it when I was in college, and I absolutely loved that about it. It was because again, tabletop was not one of those things that I did growing up. I was more of a sort of a solitary. I was a gamer, but I never really played tabletop games. So kind of moving on and then playing tabletop and really kind of getting used to that sort of, oh, I can really do just about anything I can think of that makes sense. That was probably the coolest part about it, and I really like how Larian again adapts that style of tabletop gameplay to video games. So it's like they said, it's right there. They even said that Larian that is their goal here, is to give players that sort of wide, expansive idea of, look, if you can think up a way to probably solve this solution, if you can think of a way to solve this problem, you can probably do it. I like that.
But I really appreciate when people try.
But they're trying, and the game looks really good. I think if you're into these kinds of games, or if you were a fan of Baldur's Gate in the day, this is definitely one to pay attention to.
Okay, there we go. There's Initiative.
And it's coming out. They said in a few months they're going to release it on early access.
Now, what does that mean? Is the story going to be incomplete at that point?
It will be incomplete. So it'll be like maybe chapter 1 or something.
Huh.
But you'll be able to mess around with the systems. You'll be able to meet the characters. I believe progress will carry over. So if you want to start the game, that would be one way to sort of dabble. If you want to force yourself into this.
I do want to dabble. I'm looking at it, and I'm licking my fingers, and I'm saying, let me dabble.
Please dabble.
Have they given a time frame for the full release at this point?
No, they haven't.
Platforms, obviously PC. What else?
PC, it's confirmed for Stadia.
Really?
Yeah. Oddly
Never
enough.
sure if that's a joke.
Maybe they were joking.
Oh man, I love how even the game journos are going after Stadia, saying, okay, this thing's kind of a fucking joke. But no, I do remember that when Stadia was going through their whole big thing, yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 was confirmed way back when. So yeah, it's going to be on Stadia, but yeah, I'm going to play through Steam like a normal person.
Yeah, I don't know. And then I think consoles are TBA.
Mm-hmm.
But
sure, Divinity came to consoles.
It did, and yeah,
I got it on my Switch.
The controllers sorted out, and then there is multiplayer in the game, similar to how Divinity worked.
Like co-op?
Co-op, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, so that's neat. And so this is a moment where you saw he intentionally. So it's in
Entered
real
combat?
time, and then at any moment you can switch it over to turn-based mode.
That's cool. I like what I'm looking at, to be frank.
I'll allow it.
Except for that.
Oh, sneaking failed.
Sneaking failed, sneaking successful.
Oh boy. What are you going to do now, buddy?
Wow, what a cliffhanger.
Yeah, we'll have to...
Scorching arrow, shoot at the barrel. It's a red barrel.
Ignore that. You didn't see that.
Yeah, you didn't see this.
Yeah.
If he kills him, you don't pretend you don't know.
Exactly. Well, Reeves, thanks for checking this out and telling us everything that we needed to know.
Thanks for being here and watching with me.
Absolutely. And Leo, thanks for doing your thing too.
I get paid to do it.
So thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.
Thank you for watching New Gameplay.
All right, yeah, we're done with that. No, I really like what we see here. It's very Larian, very exciting. I'm stoked. Everything we looked at today, I was a fan of. Maybe minus that Little Hope trailer, but that had more to do with just the structure of the trailer. But all right, guys, there we go. There's the show. Like I said, I hope this was a little more lighthearted, a little more fun. Whatever. I wasn't being too serious, even though I did go on a few rants, but we'll ignore that. I always go on rants. Again, I tried to keep this show on the lighter end, and then it ended up being about an hour. So either way, guys, thanks for watching. As always, social media, that is Facebook, Twitter, the website, minds.com. Links and stuff is down in the description below. Like, comment, you're not already. Please subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned more next time. Till then, my name's AJ Gell. This is Something Game Channel. I'm out.